Good evening, everyone. If you'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Dodson.
Mayor Rowan K. Hepton. Thank you. President Sharon Council Harris.
Present.
Vice President Loren Johnson. Councilor Talia Jones Waters. Councilor Carlette Brooks. Councilor Nicole Beatty.
Present.
Councilor Toya Monroe.
Present.
Thank you. Councilor Leanna Rollcliffe.
Here.
Thank you. Representative Mark Munch's office, Mr. Botts. Thank you. Our Finance Director, Narcisse Nichols. And our Tax Collector, Ms. Hughes. And our representative from Benoni.
Here.
Megan, thank you. Here ends the roll call, Madam President.
Thank you. As we've organized the past workshop meeting, we'd like to have the department heads make their report first. Then when they return to their seats after all of the department heads have made their reports, we can exchange our questions for them. Any particular information that you need, you can communicate that with them. And then we will proceed with as item number 10 on our agenda here tonight. You'll be able to have a citizens forum, which is limited to 3 minutes. All right? That's the order of tonight's workshop. As far as the president's report goes, one of the main objectives that I'd like to see happen here for this month of March is to address the issues of our website. We have entertained 3 different proposals. That's the center of my attention for this month, so that we can get that resolved and updated web design. Those proposals have been sent to all of the council members for their review and perusal, and hopefully, if we require an additional presentation to council in executive session, we will do that and allow them to, go into detail as to what the proposal offers, and hopefully we can come to a consensus on a redesign of the website, get that up to date. Now I'll refer to the manager, Mr. Dawson.
Manager's report for March 6, 2023. Excuse me. On February 7th, I attended the groundbreaking ceremony at Kerr Field. The groundbreaking is the beginning of the construction of a new track and field stadium here in Yeadon. Also in attendance were Council President Sharon Council Harris and Vice President Loren Johnson and a number of other dignitaries. If you were to drive by there anytime this week or last week, you would notice there are no more stands. The track has been removed and the ground has been dug up, so they're getting ready to start working on the stadium. On the 9th of February, the interview process began for a new webmaster. Those being considered need to have our prerequisite qualifications would be to have website development, podcast ability, and full maintenance of the website during and after construction. On the 21st of February, I attended the William Penn School Board meeting in person. Topics discussed included Kerr Field, outstanding students of the month, and the introduction of 3 new courses, including a new African history course. And I downloaded that course. It's 124 pages. It's very intense. It's college credits, and the other 2 courses that they offer or college-level courses as well. And that's good for our school district. On the 27th, I think I said the 27th, it was the 21st. On the 27th, I attended a Zoom meeting for William Penn School District, and that was an education committee meeting. Now, at the upcoming legislative meeting dated for March 16, 2023, I will ask for council's consideration to approve, number one, a resolution for Yeadon Borough Council amending the Yeadon Borough, and we discussed that before, in terms of drug treatment places and things like that. Number two, the Delaware County Hazard Mitigation Plan, which recommends mitigation activities that will reduce losses to life and property affected by both natural and human-made hazards that face the county and its municipal governments. We simply mean that if that were to happen to us, we could apply for grants to mediate our borough. And number three, the new community improvement program has been developed. I sent it out, or my assistant sent it out to all the councils in the mayor. It is a program that endeavors to help Yeadon homeowners, with some assistance in repairing driveways or the facade of their properties. You won't be able to have both. It'll be either or. Number four, the borough manager and myself, I have forwarded the proposal from the three potential website vendors, as Madam President said earlier. Those to be considered are mostly web, VITA, which is Virtual Experience Design Agency, and QuadJam Enterprises Incorporated. There ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Solicitor's report, Mr. Bond.
Sure. Pretty brief. Just to what Isaac just spoke about, I have copies of that resolution, that proposed ordinance. We're going to advertise that hopefully starting Wednesday. The councilors have it. If we can get all the feedback through by the next legislative meeting next Thursday, we might be able to pass an update to our zoning ordinance. Again, I have copies here if you want to take a look at it. There's no strict timetable. We can do that in April. But if it looks good to council and to the community, we'll advertise on Wednesday, and we might be able to pass that on Thursday.
I have questions for the solicitor.
Sure.
I received a subpoena for my personal phone, and I just, regarding the Power case, and I just wonder if everyone received a subpoena. I don't have a borough phone.
I did also.
Yes.
And I wonder if everyone received it, and I'm asking publicly what will be done with the information.
Yes, everyone got a subpoena. Other than those sitting at this table, their phones have already been dumped and given to, gone through the discovery process. Your three phones will, if complied with, it goes to our lawyers, it goes to our expert. Our expert then gives it back to our lawyers. Our lawyers go through it for the keywords that are used in discovery, and it's then turned over to defense counsel in discovery, to the plaintiff's counsel. Yes.
Why are we not told what these keywords are going to be? Or will we?
Oh, you can ask Scott.
Okay, just ask him.
He's our lawyer.
So we've asked them.
I can't remember.
Tell them.
He's our lawyer. He's the one that has that.
So this is what I don't understand. What I don't understand is our lawyer subpoenaed our personal phones. We don't have any representation at all to guide us through this legal process. We are not named defendants in this lawsuit. We're not named plaintiffs. We're not a party of this lawsuit at all. But yet and still, our personal phones are being subpoenaed by an attorney that supposedly represent all of us as a whole. And we don't have any legal representation to guide us through this.
Our insurance company has assigned us Scott Gott.
I am familiar, but the point is, We do not have any legal representation to answer our questions with respect to this subpoena.
That would be Scott.
How is that, but Scott is subpoenaed?
Not representing them.
No,
Right.
no,
Representing
He-
the borough.
Absolutely.
And
Sharon.
I personally wrote him an email requesting any and all pleadings,
Yes.
anything relating to this lawsuit, to provide me with a copy of same so I can be aware as to what is actually going on. He has yet to respond to my request, my verbal request and my written request.
Look, that's,
So, you know, so I'm a little perturbed, I am a little perturbed, and at the end of the day, it's some nonsense, because the named individuals in the lawsuit, they're getting free representation off the taxpayers, but the non-parties to the lawsuit, we're not getting any help.
Paro has asked for your phone.
If Paparo asked for our phones, Paparo's attorney would subpoena same, not our attorney.
Mr. Goldman has filed for discovery.
Goodman, not Goldman.
Mr. Goddard has to comply with discovery. He's asked his clients for what Paparo is asking for, and you've told him no. So he's asked again, you said no.
And
then you subpoenaed
Goodman,
him.
but Mr. Boggs, I'm very familiar with the process. Goodman issued discovery. If Goodman does not get all of the responses to the discovery that he has issued upon us, Goodman will file a motion for whatever response he's looking for,
Scott's-
not our attorney.
Scott's trying to head that off so that he
Well,
gets-
say no, that's not Scott's job, if he's supposed to represent, if he's representing us.
Look, if
If
you don't
he's
have a good
representing-
relationship with Scott, I don't know what I can do.
Since we're talking about discovery, I mean, I'm a little concerned.
I never seen a
I'm
discovery.
a little concerned that the attorney just responded on my behalf. When there were questions that were specifically asked about information that I knew, and the response was that the information wasn't available. No one came to me about the information. No one asked any of the questions to me, but answered on my behalf and is now subpoenaing my phone.
I've never heard of anything like this, and I'm not from a legal background, but this is kind of odd that this is a civil case and not a criminal case, and we're getting asked to have our phones subpoenaed like we committed some type of crime or something. This is very strange to me.
Well, I will say this is a very poor precedent
All right.
being set.
Yeah.
When you start subpoenaing witnesses, the personal property of witnesses, this will stop people from testifying
Yeah.
that could possibly help anyone.
That's right.
So this is a problem.
So that's
This
probably
is a
the
problem.
intention.
And that may be the intention.
Right, that's what I'm thinking, that's the intention.
Not good.
That may be the
Damn
intention.
sure.
Not good.
But all because,
Could you clarify the question of discovery? I think that's probably somehow getting this in translation.
no, that ain't exactly what it is. Everybody knows what discovery is. It's basically questions.
We've all been sued before, we know what discovery
Exchange.
is.
Yes, we all been sued before. It's questions that's exchanged between the parties.
I
The
don't think
plaintiff issue their specific questions relating to the matter at hand, to the defendant, and defendant issues questions to the plaintiff with respect to the matter at hand. That's all it is questions, a bunch of questions. And the request to produce documents is the request, again, the parties exchange requesting certain documents, basically whatever you had with respect to this matter at hand.
You
It's
know
simple.
what
It's
they're
not
looking-
that difficult.
You know what they're looking for. They're looking for conversations amongst all 7 counselors, the borough manager, the finance director, about Paparo and whether or not he was released because of race. That's what they're looking for. They believe that on your 3 phones, there could be text messages about conversations or about how other counselors feel about Paparo. That's what they're looking for. They've already gotten it off of everybody else's phone. Now they're looking for it for your phone.
But they'll find stuff that's gonna help Caparo's case on that
That's
side.
fine, they can ask me, and I tell them the same.
Help
Did
her.
they subpoena personal and borough funds? Because I've declined a borough fund.
Yeah.
And
I'm not the lawyer, I
have
cannot, I do not know the
both.
intimate details of exactly what they're asking.
Because I have both.
Well, this is messy. This is messy on behalf of the borough, to have the attorney who's supposed to be representing all of us subpoena in our personal property. That's
And
messy.
emails.
That's messy.
And responding on our behalf
If
without
Isaac
even
had said,
That's
contacting.
even more messy.
if Isaac had said, I'm not giving you my phone, Scott would have subpoenaed Isaac's phone.
I don't care nothing about that. That's who I am. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me.
But it is
I'm not
I'd
telling
like
you
it
to-
noted
to
for the
do
record that
anything-
I believe it extremely improper for questions to be asked and someone else to answer on my behalf without even reaching out to me.
Right. Didn't even interview
Yeah,
us.
what about that? What about that? Did it go through you as well?
None of this goes through me.
Yeah, because I don't understand how is someone else answering on my behalf, answering discovery on my behalf? How is that happening?
Somebody who doesn't even know us.
Someone who I never
Never
been
even met this
interviewed.
person.
Never been interviewed. Never been interviewed. So how is someone
That's
answering
who our
discovery on
insurance
my
company
behalf?
assigned to represent the borough.
I'm sorry,
That's who the insurance company assigned to represent the
but
borough.
again, how is it ethical for someone
Can't speak to
to
somebody else's
answer
ethics.
discovery on my personal behalf? How is that ethical?
That each specific question that he answered on your behalf or not, I'd have to look for ethical considerations. And I'm not going to go into whether another lawyer is, but each line would have to be
So,
looked at.
so what you're
And
saying is
why?
that you would have to you would have to have more information to be able to understand and respond.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what I would have expected of an attorney representing me, that they would seek more information to be able to respond and not just answer on my behalf without even gathering any information.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, we should at least been interviewed by the attorney.
Okay, let me-
We should at least been interviewed. And in
Counselor-
addition to that, you're the
Counselor-
borough solicitor. You should be looped in everything, so you know exactly what's going on. You may not be able to make any decisions or whatever, but you should be looped in.
Holston and Associates,
Mr.
they're
Mr.
experts in this. They
Mr.
represent
Boggs.
the DA's
Let them
office,
finish
they
talking.
represent the county.
Yeah, but you represent them. You represent council, their council, you represent them.
Excuse me.
It don't appear
But
like.
he never even sent us a letter of representation, letting us know that he represents us.
Councilor Roadcloud, just a moment, please. Mr. Boggs, would you please give a correspondence to Mr. Gottel's office indicating what has, these questions that are being raised here in this workshop meeting?
Absolutely.
With regards to these three councilors, for a letter of response, a clarification as to what is going on with regards to the subpoena of their personal.
But what I don't understand is how come that direction had to come from you when I put it in writing. And I CC'd Mr. Boggs.
now-
I CC'd Mr. Boggs. So nothing was done
So if it's not
until
resolved.
you gave him the okay, the
Okay,
green
no,
light to
no,
look into
no,
it.
no, I'm asking him now, based on your
And that's
conversation tonight, I'm directing him to do
But you know
that.
everything that's going on.
Ma'am,
because they came
listen,
to
no, no.
Yes, they did.
Absolutely not.
Yes, they did.
Okay,
You know everything that's
absolutely
going
not.
on.
These attorneys are
See, I
representing
don't
us.
play no games.
These
when it comes to
attorneys are
legality.
representing us.
They don't represent us.
You
They
understand?
represent you.
Okay,
That's why
Counselor-
they never came
Counselor,
to
that
us
is
at
not-
all.
Counselor, that is not true.
That's absolutely true.
Okay.
How an attorney represent everybody else. Everybody else was interviewed, sat and spoke with this attorney that represent them, but they never, that same attorney never came to any of us, but he represent us? How you gonna represent me and you don't introduce yourself to me?
We spend over $300,000 a year for this insurance company
I don't
that
agree.
hires these lawyers. The lawsuits are here. The opposition is requesting discovery, requesting your phone. They took my phone, they dumped it.
The opposition opposition
Your
did
phone-
not
yes,
request
they
it.
sure
It was
did.
the borough's attorney
Honey.
who requested it.
Let me explain.
No, you can't
That-
explain the
no.
legalities. I know the legalities. That's what
And
I
you
do.
are wrong.
No, I'm
And
not
you
wrong.
are wrong.
No, I'm not.
You are wrong.
She can pull up the
You are wrong.
Listen.
You are
Scott
incorrect.
Donald subpoenaed his alleged client. That's what happened.
He subpoenaed all of us, all seven of us.
Our attorney
The
subpoenaed.
solicitor has made that statement going in. You can reject the statement, does not make it untrue.
No.
It is true.
We were never
All
involved in
seven-
any conversations
all-
regarding
we
this lawsuit.
And it should have.
We constitute,
Yeah.
we constitute, excuse me,
I also
we
like to point out the
constitute
fact that we're-
the
we're
borough
here in
council
public
7 members.
Discussing legal matters because
And you
there are
raised the
no
question,
executive
Counselor.
sessions to be able to discuss this. So we have to
Okay.
resort to discussing our legal matters.
You did not have to resort to
because
that.
We
You could have done,
are
you
not
could have
advised
discussed
of these
it
things
any other
in
time.
executive
You
session.
have brought it up
We
in a
say
public
again,
meeting.
we all sent emails
Okay.
and copied everybody
Mr.
on it, and
Boggs.
nobody responded to the email.
Okay, Mr. Boggs is the solicitor.
That's why I put everything in
Mr.
writing to
Boggs
stop all
will
this
send a
lying,
letter.
to stop it all.
Okay. We're going to move to the next agenda item, which is the tax collector's report. The payments report for the borough real estate, borough trash, and borough sewer. I'm going to present the report. The summary is $387,275.44 has been collected at the time of this report dated 3/3/2023. The grand total, $275.44. Now for our engineer's report. Meg, you have the
So
floor.
I have questions about the tax collector's
Okay, can you
report.
hold your question? the tax collector is not here.
Right, so
So I-
that's part of my concern, that the tax collector isn't here. But the
Okay.
tax collector
The engineer,
gave us her schedule and let us know when she would not be available. Our finance director has told us time and time again that this meeting is too early to discuss anything related to finances, which is why he is not available. We have all of these empty tables and no one is here.
Let's not available, Talia's
No
not
one is
available, Yvette's not available, Loretta's not available.
would you
Maybe we
stop?
should reschedule.
This meeting should not happen at this time,
Well,
because no one is available. Half of the departments aren't
No,
even
Counselor.
here. Our finance
The
department,
engineer
our
is a
tax
different
department
report.
are not here.
Counselor.
No one is here from director, no one is here from fire.
Fire
Why are
code.
we doing this?
Emergency, tax.
Okay, go ahead, engineer representative, thank you.
I just have a few updates. The first one is that Yeadon was awarded a Keystone grant for the library window and door replacement. The total project cost is $52,830. The grant was 50% of that at $26,415. The next item is that the road program for the paving of West Cobb's, Yeadon Ave, Pleasant Road, Rundale, and the 2 speed humps are currently out to bid. Those bids are being opened on March 14th. Results of that will be provided prior to the council meeting, and if those are accepted, will be hopefully awarded at the March meeting, at the next meeting. The Cypress sanitary sewer improvements are complete and will go out to bid this week with the goal of awarding at the April meeting. That project total is estimated at $305,000 with $200,000 of CDBG funding, liquid fuels at $24,000, and the sewer funds at roughly $81,000. In this month's report, we also provided this sketch, which I hope is up there. That is just a big summary of all the West Cobb's improvements. I know that by this point, there's 4 separate grants, and it gets very confusing, so I think at one point it was requested that an exhibit be provided of all the improvements along there. This is through multiple grants, but in the end, this is all of the improvements as well.
All right, thank you.
So Megan, how often are you consulting with our finance director in regards to these matching grants? Are these in the budget? Have we already Like, do we know that when you get these matching grants that we're able to afford them?
Yes, prior to submitting any of these grants, a letter is from the borough, received from the borough, stating that they have the funds to support that, and especially if it comes from liquid fuels or a specific fund, it is budgeted accordingly. And we met with the finance director prior to the new year to lay out all the projects and what would be, allocated for this year.
So you get to meet with the finance director. Thank you.
Question. With a lot of the, work that's being done on the streets in Yeadon, and it just seems like whenever they finish, the repaving is like worse than what it was before.
Yes.
So what can be done to make sure that when these projects are completed, that the streets are being repaved to like they were originally instead of lumps and bumps all over the place?
Hold on one second. Are you referring to Yeadon Avenue, for example?
I'm talking about a lot of streets in Yeadon.
But Yeadon Avenue had a lot of those problems. The former engineer had coordinated those repairs, and there was still some problems underneath the ground after that. So I'm familiar with that. That was given in our last month's report.
That's actually considered.
What about West Cobb Creek
restoration.
Parkway?
And West Cobbs Creek, I think there's an issue with Aqua doing some work on the ground there.
So the one portion that has been reported many times as part of this road program, and that will be paved in the next few months. That really bad section by McDade, that's on our schedule to be paved.
McDade and Chester. Avenue, or McDade and West Cobb Creek.
McDade and West Cobbs.
Okay.
Between McDade and Chester, that's.
That will be paved in the next few months as part of this road program that is opening next week. As far as the other project, the Cypress one, when that work is complete, that entire roadway will also be paved. So we're trying to incorporate final paving in the projects moving forward.
Am I missing something? Longacre, West Cobb Creek down like Parmsley and in that area. They did the infrastructure, but it still looks like patchwork on top of the ground. That's what I'm talking about.
Which one? Is that you?
Which one is this now, Mrs. Johnson?
Where Maple Terrace is.
Yes, that's all a part of the West Cobb's rehabilitation. When is that going to be paved? I'm really not sure yet where that's coming into play. Like the whole West Cobb's should be repaved from Longacre all the way through Chester Avenue. When? I'm not sure. Okay. It's all in a settlement phase. It's all been
I know,
restored.
because it's been done like maybe a year and a half.
It's almost,
2 years
it's
ago.
been a little bit over a year now.
Yeah,
When that's coming up to effect, I'll let you know.
I'd appreciate
But
it.
That's not part of the schedule? To have the final paving?
That's on the paving schedule for the liquid fuels fund that we're talking about with Yeadon Avenue with,
But I just think
That's
Mr.
how-
Trent's question is, what can we do about that last bit of, that last piece of the puzzle that's never placed?
Like
Right?
65th Street.
There's repair, and then we're stuck with the settling phase.
well, we're in the settling phase. It has to be actually Yeadon Avenue, the 900 block Yeadon Avenue is still in the restoration phase, that has to settle. Once they restore it, we're actually going to try and bubble that into our liquid fuels and have that done with the West Cobb's, the Pleasant Road, the Londale Avenue, yes, a whole lot.
That's not where you're from.
Bring in, because now we have sewers done underneath. Once the sewers are done underneath, the water's underneath, we pave them, the road never has to touch again in another 20 years or so.
So I'm hearing we can, and but I don't hear that it is scheduled.
They're scheduled, what was the street scheduled? The West Cobb's from McDade Boulevard down to Chester Avenue is a definite schedule. Pleasant Road is definitely scheduled.
But when is it scheduled?
It's going out to bid.
It's currently out to bid, and it'll be open next week. Hopefully, if the numbers are good, it'll be awarded at your next at your next council meeting, and contracts will be executed, and we will pave it in the next few months.
But wasn't that project done after Longacre, Whitby, where Maple Terrace is? Wasn't Maple Terrace done before the area that you're talking about? Why are they going past Maple Terrace?
I can't answer that question right now. Now you're talking about the West Cobb's from McDade Boulevard down to Chester
No, I'm
Avenue?
talking about from Longacre Boulevard, where
I understand that, and that's a trench that's only about 8 feet, maybe, no,
But it
6 feet
extends the
wide.
whole.
I understand.
But it extends the whole street.
Exactly. Where is that in effect? I'm not
No,
sure,
that's not what I asked.
but I'm not sure where it's at.
That's not what the question was. The question was, why Pleasant before that, when that was the first for infrastructure?
But Pleasant is going to be a repaving and not an infrastructure issue. Pleasant Road, if you drive down right now, is absolutely deplorable, falling apart. West Cobbs Creek at Maple Terrace is just a small area. We're just prioritizing. Pleasant Road needs to be really, really done first. I mean, I'm sorry, me and myself and the engineers are prioritizing bad roads.
I understand you say prioritize. I will never
Yes,
ever
prioritize.
you guys up because I know you guys do what you're supposed to do. I just-
We're doing the best we can. If we make mistakes during this,
We're trying to get to the point that once a road is, or infrastructure is done, that it gets repaved, it just, we're getting there.
We're
Not-
getting there.
They're not, unfortunately, there's too many right now that had to be fixed and we can't pave all of
Okay,
them.
last question. Do the borough itself has to be synchronized to put that concrete back up there when the workers finish doing the work? Is that a simultaneous thing? Say yes. 'Cause I know-
yes. Could you elaborate a little bit more? Like I said, there's a settlement phase. No, we do not like to use concrete again. And
Until it's set.
we do not, but we still don't like to use concrete ever again. Concrete holds everything back.
Okay.
Concrete hides everything.
So we'll
There's-
do the blacktop.
No, we'll do the blacktop, because if something happens underneath the blacktop, it sinks. You put concrete back, something happens underneath it, it'll never sink. You'll never know what's happening underneath it. Concrete, we all think concrete's wonderful. Concrete hides all the sins, and all the sins are underneath it. You don't know it's there until the street in Philadelphia falls in and 4 cars are in there because there's a massive hole underneath there. So there's an issue. Concrete back in the day was great. Concrete today is not good. We want to see the problem develop. We don't want the concrete to hide the problem until we find the leak.
Makes sense.
Okay? I mean, it's just something we learned over the last 50 years.
It makes sense. Thank you.
I have a question. The area of West Cobb Street and McDade, it looks like within the past couple of weeks, it has deteriorated greatly.
Very true.
Can we put some, what's that filler called?
Why can't it be just scored down?
Because that road,
It's-
people are now literally driving around
Yeah.
that area.
That's been going on for 30 years.
It's tough, and this is the one that's going out to bid next week.
I
I
understand,
understand, and it could take another month to get this done, and yes.
but what I'm asking is, for now, until it's repaired,
He's talking about the
can
patch.
some coal patch be poured in that area? Because that area right now, when people are coming off of West Cobb Street to go on to Chester, they're literally going around that
Yes, they
area
are.
into oncoming traffic to avoid
Is it-
all of those
I got you,
potholes.
the dangerous issue down there, absolutely, we'll take care of
We've been
it.
talking about this for 30 years, because nothing's been done.
Well, no, nothing is wrong, because we have done a lot to patch it, but
Yeah.
we have not repaved it. We
Yeah.
just didn't have the funds and the money,
People complain
not
about
the
it,
infrastructure.
right there, and I'm complaining about it.
I got it, we've,
Satisfactorily, it's been done, it just keeps getting kicked down the road, and nothing's done.
it's called, it's
I'm tired
temporary.
of it.
It's
I lived there,
temporary.
it's been 30 years, nothing's been done, I complain to every engineer, and they don't do
I'm
nothing.
not- Yes. A lot has been done, it's been temporary. Temporary is temporary. We can only patch until liquid fuels money are taken care of and the infrastructure is done.
Can I ask Isaac a question, please, in reference to? May I ask Isaac a question in reference, piggybacking off of this?
Yes, yes.
The question, Isaac, is, I know that SEPTA is building up the SEPTA stations to the new ARC. Is that a place that they're working to do in that area as well? And how would that affect if that work is done? Because they're going to have to tear up some stuff to build that state-of-the-art SEPTA
Are you talking about the depot on Check Avenue?
I'm talking about,
No, no.
You know what I'm
Chester
talking
Avenue
about.
Pole will be restored. That's not going to affect anything to do with McDade Boulevard.
Okay.
And the slope. It's tracks and
Two different
tracks.
things.
Two different things.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Butler.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Mayor, for the mayor's report,
I don't have much of, I don't have a written report, because I get it prepared for legislative meeting, because there are too many things that happen in between. But I will verbally say, report that we had our mayor's forum last Thursday, went very well. Actually, it's probably one of the biggest highlights. I thought it went really, really well. I got all our enemies to get none. Everybody came out, and it was pretty productive. We did, for the first time in a while, we had our Civil Service Commission together. We had Owen Wooten, we had Carl Graham, and we had our newly minted Michael Trent. So that's good. We had a sighting. We had a sighting of the Civil Service Commission, which is good. And I offered my expertise, whatever. I was chairman for 7 years. So if anything you need or want me to go over anything with you, I'm available. But that was good because we have to get our Civil Service Commission going. Chief Henry Gianmarco is off to a good start. He was there, gave an overview of some of his vision and what he plans to do for the department. He was, I wouldn't say pleasantly surprised, but he reported that, which I already know, we have some darn good officers. And he was very impressed going around the street, looking hands-on, how they handle residents, how they handle police stops, and how they handle situations. We just need continuity of leadership. And he did give, I appreciated Chief Gianmarco for giving props to the prior chief, saying he did do some good things, some many good things. But thanks for being magnanimous and for citing that you're building, everything's not bad. We're building off some good things and good innovations. So appreciated that. And that's all I have to report. Councilor Rogan.
My question is, the issues, I've been noticing a lot of abandoned cars now resurfacing.
For real.
On the streets. Also, a lot of abandoned cars in private driveways, and I do understand that the code department is responsible for that, but the code department seems to be on vacation
All the time.
all the time. And I feel like if the code department isn't running efficiently, the police department is not going to know about some of these things that need to take place.
Yeah, when we had Councilor Rogan, we had a problem with that in the past, where if the code department is not up to snuff in some of these cited areas of responsibility, it kind of gets bounced back to the police department.
Mr. Mayor, may I speak?
Sure.
I drive around personally at least 2 to 3 times a week. The cars are in driveways, sometimes they're 7, 5, 6. I asked Chief Gianmarco, is there anything we can do to get the VIN number? We're not allowed to go on the properties. The code department has a staff meeting every Friday at 9:30. At those meetings, we go over their reports. We go over the times they walk the street. We go over vacant houses, unoccupied properties. Everything that I think that the residents and council would be concerned about is discussed at the code meeting. I would say that the code department may not be the most efficient, but we're working on it. And as I said, I drive around personally. I check on properties. I report back. I know what's going on. I'm not sitting in my office waiting for them to tell me something. I literally get out there myself and I drive around. I'm very proud, to a degree, with our code department. Mr. Stokes has been out ill for a while. He's back in the office working. And so the other gentlemen are out on the street working. And if they're not out in the street working, they're taking permits at the office. So they do work. I hope that they continue to work harder, and I hope we can earn your trust. They can earn your trust as a code department. They are working diligently. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Going on for
Thank
years.
you for that.
Years.
Thank you. for
What about the
that,
sump
Mr.
pumps that
Jackson.
people have dumping water onto public sidewalks and public streets? You notice that when you drive around?
No.
You should look when you drive.
I will. Thank you.
So, Mr. Dodson,
More than
I really
many
appreciate that, that's soliloquy you just recited there. Thank you for that. So, and I appreciate you driving around and, really getting into this community to find out where the problems are.
Thank you.
But apparently, your car must not be operating properly because it's a whole lot that you seem to miss. I have a car that's been in my common driveway
For months.
since I reported it back in December. I asked for a follow-up status. I was told to go to you or Counselor Carlette Brooks for a follow-up status. That car still remains partially obstructing the common driveway. I have a home with a big hole in the roof that's been reported almost a year ago, and I've been following up ever since. Not only is the hole getting bigger, but now the homeowners decided to just fill the front porch up with junk. So now I got that to look at when I'm riding down the street in my car. I have dilapidated sidewalks hurting my poor dog's paws when she runs down the street. So you telling me your code department is up to snuff? No, it's not. And we're not going to candy coat and sugarcoat what's really going on.
So true.
Code hasn't been doing anything.
Worse than it's ever been.
I don't
It is
see.
worse than it's ever been.
It's worse. There's trash all over this community. Abandoned cars are starting to resurface. The common driveways, they're hiding their junkers that people have to look at. The sidewalks are dilapidated. Code isn't doing anything but sitting in the office.
They're driving around.
And who's
Yeadon has
supervising
curbside
code?
appeal.
Who's supervising
They
the
only have
supervisor of
curbside
code?
appeal. They're driving, they're not walking.
They driving, I don't know, they driving to go get some lunch, but they ain't driving to see what's going on and make the quality of life in Yeadon better.
Okay.
That I know.
Next on our agenda.
And you know I got pictures.
Committee reports, and we don't have many of the committee, committee chairs are not here. So
That's okay, they didn't have a committee meeting last month anyway.
Madam President, we
Yes.
have recreation.
Yes,
We
I'm
have public works.
going to get to those.
Okay, thank you.
With regards to community affairs, we won't address that.
All we do is
Ordinance and
play
zoning.
party.
Excuse me, Mr. Boggs did comment on resolutions that he's prepared with regards to recreational marijuana or any other controlled substance that is going to be before our state legislature, and how we can prepare an ordinance in time, in good time, so that we don't have the situation we had with the dispensary being placed in a residential/commercial district of our town. So he's already commented on that. We'll move from there to Public Works. Mike? You need Mike? Mike?
We're gonna let them do it.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. A couple key notes for e-waste, and we have yard waste drop-off. Our e-waste will be the 24th of this month, Friday, March 24th, between 8 and 2:30 p.m. Yard waste drop-off will begin the 10th
of this month, 8:30 to 2:30 p.m. We did have some eight trips that were done this month. One was at 901 Lawyer Boulevard. The full cleanup was done and trimming of the property. We have another abatement that was done at 1023 Church Lane. There's another complete cleanup. New digital signs, speed signs were installed at Bailey Road, and one is on Midday Boulevard. Per police request, we're going to be removing these signs around town based on some traffic studies. And we are I am in conjunction with the chief and the lieutenant in having some estimates done on new holding cells to bring us up to par in our police department. That concludes my report.
I just have one question, Mike, if I may.
Yes,
In reference to the digital speed sign,
yes.
great, I agree. Howsoever, what happens in the full process once that's taken down? If I'm going past there at 25, 30, 40 miles an hour, it's going to clock my speed. Okay, if I'm going 60 miles an hour, who's going to give me a ticket?
It's not based on tickets, it's based on data. We're compiling data. We have everything in the cloud. Every car that drives past there, we know how fast they're going, in 1 hour.
So what
1 day.
happens after if we get it from the cloud?
It's going to get from the cloud. It's going to go to chief. We're going to actually realize speeding in certain areas. He'll be able to add officers to that area. We'll be able to move it street to street. Residents complain they're driving too fast down your street or somebody else's street. We'll remove that sign. It'll notify people. It's a study device. It's not a device that's going to give tickets. It's not meant for that. It's more traffic.
So what happens with the study after the study is complete? Where do we go then?
The study is once we actually get more cops, hire more officers, then what we can do is deploy those resources there. So they'll give us, and we can actually track it, we can analyze the data and realize that, this block or this section has more people speeding, and then we can target enforcement for that.
Okay, that
The
makes,
problem is in boroughs, you have to go through the state legislature to actually get the signs passed for your traffic cameras, lights, and where they actually start the ticket program. And I believe boroughs may be exempt from that. I believe it's only townships and cities of the first class, Philadelphia, where you could have like cameras. And that's something that Madam Secretary, when she comes to town, maybe we can beat her area to try to get her to start something to try to pass it, where boroughs can get the red light cameras. And that would be great to put some red light cameras. We have political capital, she's at #1. That's something to think about.
certainly is.
To try to hit that up, but it's going to be utilized. And once we actually, the Civil Service Commission in play now, once we start adding officers, we can start traffic enforcement, which I know is a huge concern. I get the emails constantly, and
Yeah.
it's coming up. I know it's a
Yeah.
huge concern.
Thank you.
Mike, public safety chair is not here, so we're going to move right to the police department's report. Chief Giamarco.
Who's our public safety chair?
I don't know, Councilor Jones. Yes.
Good evening. I'm going to go over the brief report. My name's Henry Giamarco, the new police chief of Yeadon Borough. It's great to be here. Last month, we had 715 calls for service. The majority of those calls were traffic, 136 with some parking complaints built in. Last month, we had 3 criminal arrests. They range from aggravated assault, one was harassment by communication, and we had a robbery and ag assault. 10 non-traffic citations were issued. Essentially, they're summary citations. We had 91 parking tickets issued. With the parking front, we had interviews last month. We selected 2 candidates that we put through. We're waiting for their approval from council. Past due warnings are being sent out from previous tickets. We actually have one of the residents has over 63 tickets that are not paid, that I'm dealing with right now, the county court, to see what we can do with that person. Just some other stuff going on. Currently, we are beta testing the Crime Watch app. The anticipated time to have the Crime Watch app launched and go live is going to be the week of March 27th. Like I said, it's a beta test right now. It's actually looking pretty good. It's going to bring our department back into the social media realm. We're going to have a new Facebook page because no one can find the last Facebook page password or the Twitter account password, so we have to redo that. As you know, the last post was, I believe, January of 2022. There's not been a social media. This new app is going to be really good. Once it's launched, it's going to be more intuitive where you can directly contact us, and it's going to work out well. Also, the Yeadon Police Department is hosting Phoenix training on Thursday, April 6th and Thursday, April 7th. This is open to law enforcement, also professionals, EMTs. This is a great opportunity to give back to the community. Phoenix training is essentially a program that breaks down the barriers and teaches law enforcement, first responders, and other workers how to deal with people that are addicted to drugs. It breaks down the barriers. It offers solutions to deal with people. And it's free, and they're providing lunch, which is even another incentive, and we get 4 hours of our municipal police officer training, or MOPEC. And then on Wednesday, April 12th, myself and Dave Shellcross from the Attorney General's office will be meeting with the members of the Friendship Senior Center. Dave Shellcross is known throughout the state. Dave does everything when it comes to seniors with senior scams. That's starting at 9:30. If you're available, it's going to be a nice event. I got to meet with the police chaplains. We're starting that program up again. And
What's the date again of the friendship circle?
that's going to be the 12th of April, Wednesday, at 9:30. Also, I've been in contact with a bunch of the schools around here. There's a major problem we know with the kids being dismissed with the double parking, especially at Bell. I'll be out there tomorrow with hopefully another officer or just myself, and if they don't move, they're going to be getting ticketed because issues with the kids walking out of school, people are double parking. I understand you want to pick your child up, but horrible planning on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on my part or having a child get hit by a car. So we're going to try to enforce that as much as we can. And last but not least, we're going to be looking for volunteers. I know it's far away, but Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, we're going to start planning now for a national night out. And I'm hoping to get a good response and some volunteers. People want to step up and help. And I'm meeting on a Wednesday with Park and Rec, and we're hoping to plan that out. And I'm assuming we're going to talk about Flag Day. But that's my report.
Chief, do you see the relevance in today's world for Town Watch?
That was brought up, and that's something that we'll address in the committee meeting, I believe the 22nd. I got some research on it, and we'll bring it up. And there's also something, it's called, as the counselor said about dog, I was researching, it's dog walk too, where when you're out walking your dog, if you see something, say something. With the Crime Watch app, I think that'll be really good, and I explained it at the mayor's forum. With the Crime Watch app, you could be, and it's a great app. I mean, a lot of departments are using it, and I also explained the one benefit. We're about a 21 to 22% solvability rate in crime. Agencies that were all throughout the state, they did a study on it that were around 25 to 30%-ish, went up to about 45% a year using it. Because what'll happen is the officers on the street, they have a crime, any crime, no matter where it starts. They'll put out the crime. It'll go on the Crime Watch app. Citizens will look at it and go, wait a minute. Or that person's wanted, for example. Oh, he's laying down with, so-and-so over there. He's laying his head there. They take a picture, boom. Send it to us anonymously. We'll have it. It'll go directly to the officer. It'll generate. And I said it with the people with, that has Alzheimer's or a special needs child. You put all that information in there. The officer's driving around. They stop someone midnight wandering the street aimlessly. They go on the app, and it's a geo-tracker on their phone. Okay, well, these people are, Alzheimer's. Okay, so you see this, wait a minute, that's him. Here's who you contact. I mean, it's a really good app. Missing persons. And the good thing with this app is, with the social media, it scrubs it automatically. It's proprietary information. We put that I'm missing on there. Once I'm found, boom, it goes around and it scrubs all of it. So it takes it all down. So if you have somebody, God forbid, makes a mistake, Pennsylvania, with JNet, theoretically, you cannot use JNet photos for wanted photos. A lot of people use them, you get in trouble with that. So if somebody puts that on there and they forget, you're gonna have myself, the lieutenant, and another sergeant will have access to where we get the final say. It pops up on our phone, Officer Smith wants to put this one person on there, we look, oh, that's a JNet photo, decline, put a regular photo, so it works. Counselor?
I was looking at this report here, and you said, the month of January, it was, two aggravated assaults. And my question is, around what time period during the day are these crimes being committed? Because it looks like, it just says like 10, I don't know military time, but
What time is it?
10, 11 hours.
So that's 10 a.m. in the morning.
That's in the morning,
Yes.
and that's an aggravated assault. So we have these types of crimes happening that early in the morning.
Yes. And remember, an aggravated assault could be a domestic violence situation. You go in, it could be someone in school. It could be enumerated to an aggravated assault, because if you hit a teacher, that's different than just hitting your spouse.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Okay. This Crime Watch app you're proposing, is it a fee attached to that?
Yes, it's I already went through Nafis. I met Nafis, and it's $4,200 a year, and it's split up over 2 payments.
So basically, you're really dependent on the public to provide information, right?
Yes, but other departments in the area are also on it. Darby, so we're going to work together. They generate they put their warrants on there. We'll have our warrants on there. So it's an example is you go out, or I go out, not you, because you won't do it. I'm up in Pittsburgh, and I raise cane, let's say, and I, get at a Pittsburgh Steelers game. I get a warrant up there. Now all of a sudden you have Officer Smith driving around, and they see me, and any warrants in the area, boom, and my address is Yeadon, it'll pop up, even though I'm wanted in Pittsburgh. So it'll show your photo and everything. I understand $4,200 is a lot of money, but when you don't have that, as I just preaching transparency, to get that transparency out, to be, another awesome feature on this is the cameras. I'm big on the cameras. What'll happen is you register your camera online now, you'll send us a screenshot of your camera, take it, your photo, screenshot, boom. Let's say Jay or Leah or anyone that has an investigation, they'll say, who has areas, on Bailey, who has cameras in this area, boom. It'll pop up, but what it'll do is you'll input your information, and you'll put a photo in there, so they'll say, well, that photo only shows the dumpster, we don't need that photo. So it really reduces a lot of the legwork.
Okay.
Yes, Councilman.
I have a question about, and every now and then when I'm working from home, I'll ride around and I see, I've been living here my whole life, so I kind of know the drug houses in the area. I know, because some of these are people I went to school with, unfortunately, but I just want to know what is happening with known drug houses, because if I know what they are, the cops should know who they are too.
And that's why this app is really, and I hate to keep falling back on this app, but until we can build that trust again, where I can have someone come to me and go, yo, they're selling, they're selling drugs. And just
it's kind of obvious too that they're selling drugs. Anybody who's really paying attention should know, like the constant in and out. And I see a lot, I noticed this the last time I was working home and it was a nice day. A lot of young people who probably need to be at work but don't have jobs, so they just ride around, double park in the middle of the street. It's like, it's very strange behavior to me in the middle of the day. It seems like a lot of stuff, Yeadon has always been a place that had the appearance of a very safe neighborhood, and we are generally safe, but there's always been an underground subculture in Yeadon. I know about it, and I know the people involved, a lot, not all, but it's like, who's paying attention to what's really happening? That's my question.
And honestly,
I can't pass the physical to say
I'm bringing my Shih Tzu, and she's going to be the new drug dog. So everybody see her walk around. But honestly, like with something like that, use me. Like use the leverage, because I have friends that in B&I, Bureau of Narcotics Investigation, they're chomping at the bit. They have what they call a strategic response team. They'll come down and they'll make so much noise, they'll whack the house, they'll conduct an investigation, then they'll serve a search warrant on the house. But what they can do is, they'll do that. And the one thing I wrote down, the abandoned vehicles, and Mr. Dodson asked me about that. The problem, and I don't know if you saw the article, we come up with these catchy names, like, now it's ghost cars in Philadelphia. Essentially what people are doing is they pass that Drive and Equity Act, so people, you take your tag off, so you don't have to regulate cameras. But what they're doing too is they're actually covering the VIN numbers. So they'll put a book in there. Now, on the street, we're gonna pop in that car to write that ticket. When it's on private property, we cannot go on there to take that. But now, abandoned, with where your car is at, if you'll let me know, and abandoned cars too, let me know immediately if you have an abandoned car. I'll get out there and I'll do everything I can to get them moved.
So what I'm speaking of with respect to the abandoned cars on private property, we have an ordinance in this borough where it says if your car is inoperable, like flat tires, okay? So if the code department just, one day they just, a light bulb goes off and say, I want to do my job today, and just take a little walk into one of the common driveways and see a car sitting there with 4 flat tires and a rusty bumper, dusty windshield or dusty back windshield, that's the cue right there that something is wrong with this car. It's inoperable. We need to write a citation. That's what I'm talking about. And once they write their citation, I believe they have 72 hours to get the car, the owner, to get the car up and running again. After 72 hours, if not, then it gets towed.
I agree with you, and like, I
So
agree
we
with
do
you.
That's the
have
process.
codes and ordinances in place for this. We just don't have the people enforcing it. We don't have the people enforcing it.
And I'm coming from a position where, true story, I drive back to Tacony in Mayfair, and it's like, if anybody see that commercial with the Native American who's crying because of the property?
Yeah.
I go back there and I'm in tears. I remember telling my sister the exact same thing, verbatim, back in 2000. This neighborhood's going bad. That one abandoned car, the broken window theory, the property's going down. No, you don't know what you're talking about. It'll never go. They're shooting on the block where I grew up. And that was Mayfair. Remember, Northeast was like where everybody wanted to move.
Yes.
They're shooting up there. So one abandoned car, one broken window theory, that's when stuff starts to go. Because people, I can throw my trash. I can do that. Yeah, I can, when I stopped over at the one place, the guy said, what are you writing tickets for the cars? I'm like, because put a quarter in a meter. I'm like, I go to Center City, I pay $28 to park. You're complaining about a quarter? That's the thing, you got it, and everyone's here obviously cares about the community. And with the abandoned cars, if you have an abandoned car, you should all have my email. If not, I'll give it to you. Email me immediately, and if they're on the street, I'll make sure we take them. And just let me know if that one's sticking out of the driveway, then that's impeding traffic. We'll get that, we'll see what we can do if we can get that moved.
I'm sorry, can I ask you a quick, you said you had 2 interviews for police coming up soon?
No, for parking enforcement, we already did, we conducted 2 interviews. We saw one candidate still under background check. The other one passed the background check, and we have one that's going to be a backup to the backup. But, because I collected, one of the days last week, I went out and collected the change to see how it was, which is a horrible system, because, half of them are broke. I walked away with, the borough walked away with 600, and don't quote me because I don't know it exactly. Sheila told me it was like $600 and some and change from me going out there. And I was just upset. I'm seeing all these cars parked there at meters, not across from the hoagie shop. You can't put a quarter in a meter, but that's something else we can discuss with council about maybe upgrading the meters. And,
Have you considered that there's a national coin shortage?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm serious.
There are quarters. We need kiosks.
But the kiosks, and we're talking about, Mr. Dodson and I are talking about that.
I know there are no quarters. They're all in my mother's 5-gallon tank.
So is mine too. I got about $800 in
That's
that.
where the quarters
Chief,
are.
Chief, I would like to ask you, in looking at your report, this is what was done over the years.
moving forward. The code department, when I was council president, I divided into quadrants of 4. Will you, in your report, look at the borough, which is about 1.4 square miles if you take out the cemetery? Will you divide the borough into quadrants and be able to report back to the residents and council what are priorities in terms of patrolling, traffic, and crime?
We can, and I'm sure I can exploit the data with when Crime Watch and do like districts, like, you know, or quadrant, if you want to do whatever you want to call them, districts 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, whatever's easier, we can do that. And then we can have, you know, hopefully if you get the Town Watch program, you can have maybe a quote unquote a quadrant leader that can report back to us and work that way, so.
Well, we do have precincts.
Well, then we'll do precincts then.
Stick with that, we already got.
That's, yeah, well, I'll keep it simple in precincts, so we'll do, no, it's easier, I'll do precincts. Then it's kind of like New York, I'm not a big New York guy, so, but I'll keep it precincts though. As long as it's not Dallas, we're good.
I want to ask a question. No, I want to the mayor. I would like to ask a safety question to the mayor. Mayor, at the legislative meeting, I asked about the safety meetings. You and Waters said that you were going to get together to get a date together for safety committee meetings. Have that been done?
No.
When?
So,
I thought she said the last Wednesday.
No, she didn't. No, she did not. She did not say the last one.
what I need to do is to communicate with Councilor Jones Waters.
That's what you stated.
Come up with some kind of compromise of both workability and work use. Right now, it's not.
Because the last Wednesday, she said it wasn't conducive, and early in the morning wasn't conducive. I'm depending on you because I'm ready for safety, so I'm depending on you.
Is there emergency
So,
management?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for the
Sure.
So, Mayor, why can't you just have the public safety meeting like you did?
Like you did, like you've always
Yeah,
done.
on Saturdays.
Because
You're putting the community at a standstill waiting for
We
her.
need
We
to
need to know what's going on.
you know,
I'm trying to do it officially so that I can
What's the
come
holdup?
to an official.
what you mean?
But Mayor, it's been a week already, and now you're telling me another week. She can jump on the bandwagon. But it's putting the community at risk, and we want to
I
go
mean-
for it.
I mean, Mayor, did you know that you're the mayor? Yeah.
You are over public safety.
I mean, we haven't had a public safety meeting
And then the police chief.
And 24
I
months.
think it gets in the, I don't think.
That's that long,
anybody
yeah,
else
close to
should be
24.
responsible for our safety. I think that we need to.
But it's been 13 months. We haven't had a meeting in 13, well, this month, 14 months. That's a long time.
And those committee meetings, those meetings have been very instrumental in staying on top of, you know, pressing issues.
And a lot of these questions can be asked in the committee.
It should be asked in those places.
Do you have,
I do know. Good point. I'm not saying this.
all right, next, recreation, Mr. Hunter.
Here.
Good evening. Our next committee meeting, our next recreation committee meeting will take place on Wednesday, March 15th in the community room downstairs. We're putting together a plan for, of course, Flag Day, Juneteenth, what activities are we going to have, carnival or whatever. And then also too, we're going to look at our haunted hall, which now it's gone, but now we're going to have another opportunity to have another type of situation for Halloween. We're also looking at community night out, dealing with the police, the chief and I are going to meet along with some residents on Wednesday to talk about National Day Out, see if we can make that a big adventure. So again, the 15th of March, Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the community room. Please come.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
What's the community room?
The mayor's former office
Oh, that's what I.
that's the community room.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
I don't mean to be rude, but
I was just
obviously,
wondering.
the chair did not get back to you. Loren did not get back to you because on the floor, someone correct me if I'm wrong, please. On the floor, she said that the meetings were going to be the last week of every month. We were not going to have it on the 15th. That's what happened at the last meeting where you was there and she wasn't there because she's not getting together.
Right, we'll take care of that, make sure that, hopefully it'll be the 15th, but we'll make sure.
No, I'm not going to be there on the 15th. I'm going to be there on the last Wednesday because that's what councilors say. You better say something, please, borough manager. Say something that she said on the floor so that this man will not be there on the
Ms.
15th.
Johnson, the reason why I shook my head is I agree.
But I don't want you to agree with me. I want you to tell him
I
so
will tell
that he will
him,
know.
and he will ask her, and we will put online that meeting will take.
You don't have to ask her. I'm telling you. He should be telling you, not nodding your head. His head.
Shade Tree Commission. We're still looking for 2 residents for the Shade Tree Commission. The Shade Tree Commission plays an important part in community management of trees and natural resources. Again, we belong as a borough to the Stormwater Coalition, and we're able to get trees through our Tree Vitalized program for not only the borough, but for residents. And we need to replace a couple of trees that are missing from our rain garden on Gunther and Church Lane. Someone confiscated a couple of trees, so they must be pretty good.
Well, how you gonna keep them there? They just gonna keep taking them, you gonna chain them down?
We'll put them back there. We might even chain them down. Yeah, so we lost a couple of trees, but we're some other things that are gonna go out there. I don't know. Yeah, but we'll find out.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
with respect to the shade trees,
Yes.
what about, you said trees for the residents?
Yes.
What about replacing some of the shade trees that were taken from the curb?
Yes, oh yes, that's a part of it too. Not only trees for the residents, but trees for the borough. Trying to replace some of those which have been cut down. Some of them were so large we're putting on the sidewalk. But yeah, but we want to come up with a plan for the Shade Tree Commission to be able to do that. So through the Stormwater Coalition, we can work with the state and try to get trees. Usually, for every tree you take down, you should put another one up. But it has to be a different kind of tree. Can't be really big trees. So we're gonna work on that as soon as we get the commission going.
So trees fall under recreation?
No, we're part of what's called the Shade Tree Commission. I'm sorry, the Stormwater Coalition. Doesn't really fall under recreation, but the borough is a part of the Stormwater Coalition. So we're able to get trees. We have some in the back in the parking lot that we have. So we're able to get trees, and we can do that through the Stormwater Coalition. Yeah.
They're not paying you enough, Mr. Hunter. You can't do stormwater and recreation.
Well, what I've done, I've given myself another job called Recreation and Community Development. So that's the community development part of the report. Give me a raise, Also, too, the flower show is underway at the Convention Center in Philadelphia. The tickets are, I think, $45 a piece. But they've moved inside, they're back inside again. And it's March 4th through the 12th. So if you want to go down to the Philadelphia flower show, it's at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. We also had the garden at Community Park ready to start again. There's also a garden at the Yeadon Library, and we're both using the technical assistance to help out gardeners through the Penn State Master Gardener Program. So we're both using that program to keep our community vegetable gardens going. YEAA, the Yeadon Educational Athletic Association, just finished their basketball season. They were at the tournament over at Penwood High School this past weekend, getting ready to plan our summer basketball program along with our fall soccer program. On another note, 3 Yeadon residents, young people, Aisha McFarland, Lamisha McFarland, and Fatimata Sissoko, participated for Penwood High School at the Pennsylvania State Indoor Track Championships. The young ladies ran on the 4x8 relay and the 4x4 relay, and the boys competed on the 4x4. So these young ladies who all live in Yeadon did an outstanding job, and we wanted to recognize them. Mr. Dotson talked about Kerr Field. It's already underway. If you take a look at it, get a chance to drive down, take a look at Kerr Field. It's starting to take some kind of form. We're not sure what it is yet, but everything is gone, and we will have a track, we'll have a baseball field, and some other things out there. Rain barrel workshops. We're going back to an in-person format again. We were doing, I think because of COVID, we were involved with a lot of Zoom type of operations, which turned out well. We were getting a lot of people with Zoom, but we're going to go back to in-person. So we will have a rain barrel workshop here at our Borough Hall pretty soon. We just have to pick the month, but we look forward to that. And I think that's it.
With the last part of our agenda tonight for public comment, Clara Johnson.
I got a big mouth.
On my public comment, I had seated, and I'm directing this to Councilor Shannon. Seating is fine, but you got us all crammed up like sardine cans. The virus is still strong here. I don't want to be sitting in a circle close to everyone. You should not even advocate for that. I think it would probably be better, I don't know who you bounced it off of, but honestly, whoever it was, they didn't give you the right bounce. It should be the way it was before, with Counselor facing us, and we're sitting in seats that is, what is it, 6 feet or 6 inches, 6 whatever apart, so that we do not get anything. I don't want to give Mike anything, and Mike don't want to give me nothing.
That's
all right.
As many people know, it is election season. There are 3 council seats up. The election is May 16th. The 3 current councilors are running again. That would be Councilor Latoya Monroe, Councilor Leona Roadcloud, and Councilor Talia Jones-Waters, who is probably getting petitions signed right now because they're due tomorrow. Anybody that gets their petition signed tomorrow, notarized, and turned in will be on the ballot for May 16th. Next week, March 14th, Tuesday at 7 o'clock right here, we are having a Meet the Candidates question and answer session. Everybody who's running for council is welcome to come. We are expecting the 3 councilors that are running for re-election to come, and we're expecting at least 3 newbies are going to show up and toss their hat in the ring, and everybody's welcome. No RSVP required, just show up and introduce yourselves, and we'll ask you some questions, and you can have a free platform to let people know what's what. The one thing that not everybody in Yeadon realizes is, because we are so democratic, the local government gets decided during the Democratic primary. If you're not a Democrat, we're Pennsylvania, we have closed elections. If you're registered as a Republican, you only get Republican choices in the primary. If you're registered as a Democrat, you only get Democrat choices. If you want a voice in your local election here, you need to be registered as a Democrat. It's easy to change your party online.
just Google Delco Votes. It's like a Delco Gov PA website, and it's very simple to register, update your address, change your party affiliation, and you need to do that before May. So do it right now while you're thinking about it. Register as a Democrat so you have a voice in your local government.
Thank you.
Is there any other residents wishing to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 months ago, no, 2 months ago, I was at one of the workshop meetings, you said that the residents who weren't able to come to the meetings, you would make sure that these items were put on the website so that they could read them. So since there's only 8 residents here and 12,000 in the town, how are the people who didn't attend tonight going to get this information? They promised, look at the webpage, it's not there. And this is 3 months ago, they made this promise. So what are you planning to do?
Let me tell you, it is a number one priority.
You said that.
Two, and it has taken us this much time to recruit, to put the invitation out. The website, as you are very much aware, it's antiquated. When we looked into it, Mr. Thompson and myself, we had 3 proposals. They've been sent to each councilor to review, because the website is hard to navigate. It doesn't allow you to maneuver around and get the information you need quickly. It's not attractive.
Why did it win an award? Why did it win an award?
Now,
Before you gave it to Gary Ford, it was an award-winning website.
Certainly was.
Website
Look that
has to be overhauled. You got proposals for that. And so it's going to be, until we get that updated and upgraded, you're not putting things on it that you can't find, minutes that aren't on it. It's really.
How did it get to that state? How did it get to that state?
Slides on the website just fine. Why is that still there?
What would be the suggestion?
So the suggestion is council will have an opportunity to review those proposals and decide.
For the people that can't come, like those who want to table for us tonight, how can they get this information if they can't get it on the website?
It's going to, listen, there is a gentleman that is up, there's a gentleman, Mr. Dobson, that answers better than I can.
Then let him.
There are certain things that make it up on the website. Everything that Talia does makes it to the website.
That can get on there. But again, it is still not functional to the level that we have to have. And so
Your little meeting with Penny made it on the website.
An opportunity at our executive session that we're going to plan to have those vendors come and make a presentation so that we can intelligently decide what vendor we can hire.
So we need to take these to the photo booths at the events, and then we can get the information on the website. We just have to hold the piece in front of our faces for the photo booths. Then they'll be right there on the front page.
Talia has to be in the picture.
Oh yeah, well Talia and Public Works Department report. Then we get right on the front page. Right on the front page. No problem.
The idea is, for this council, all 7 members, to have input on what webmaster we're going to decide upon, what the cost are going to be, what we can afford, and what we're going to decide about, so that you can bring that website up to par. Until you do that, you can have this information uploaded. It's still not going to do what you need it to do when people want to know about their town, about all the benefits, all of the wonderful things about the town. You don't have any of that going on with that website. It is just antiquated.
Award-winning antiquity.
And so we need to do that. And all honesty to you, it has to be done. So the council's going to have to make that decision. So in the meantime, Mr. Dodson can put that information on. But again, you just load the site up, and you can't really navigate the site. You really have to.
Just remove that outburst page. So just make that outburst page link to all of the
and have him.
reports.
We have a guy that's doing that puts up information on the website.
What's that guy's name?
Mr. Dodson. He will send it over to the.
What guy puts it on your website?
What guy?
Yeah, she says we have a guy that puts it on the website. What guy does that? Does anybody know? Sean
Okay, so he's the guy that right now puts things on.
Oh, John Joyce?
Oh, he's part of the Waytech is the
IT Waytech?
that manages all IT stuff, payroll.
works.
So, but he has an associate and
So
then
why-
a contract.
Are the YouTube videos on a Borough channel?
So that Mr. Dodson has that information. He was just, okay.
Just one last question.
It's eight.
Just one last question in reference to what you were speaking about, if I may, and then it'll be the last one, because then I'm going home. Okay?
One question, just one question.
Yeah, my question is, how did the web get as messed up as you say it was? Because I didn't finish my.
2021, it was a winning site.
I did not finish. You're not allowing me to finish. I'll tell you when I'm breathing and when I stop talking.
Make your point.
Yeah, 2
Make
years.
your point.
Are you trying to call? You are being disrespectful of Mr. Johnson because he is talking and you're talking to him. You need to be quiet. You need to be quiet.
Okay. In year 21, prior to you sitting in the seat that you're sitting in, we got awards. I was on council for the web, for calendar, so I like to know, how did it get so disarrayed?
Gary Gore.
No, she can answer that. I'm sure she can.
I'm not answering that.
Oh, then she answered it.
It was Gary Core, the final decision. I just have one question. And Clara had spoken with regards to this before, with regards to the seating being small and a lot of people aren't coming to these meetings. So can we do something with regards to when we're in the legislative so that there's more room with regards to people not having to sit too close to one another? Just because people are still concerned with regards to COVID and things like that. And then the other is, can we do something with regards to, not everybody can get out to these meetings for whatever reason, so they would like to see it via Zoom. Can we take a look with regards to actually allowing the meetings to be available to the residents?
That's one of the things that's going to be on the subject with the new webmaster, podcasting, Zoom, all of those areas are going to be explored with the new webmaster. So that's going to be done. So,
So with respect to the selection of the new webmaster, we received an email with 3 applicants and
3 proposals.
well, they're still applicants.
Applying applicants because they didn't advertise the job. They solicited the job. So there's 3 proposals from people they solicited.
So
rather
that
than
was going to be my
applicants because it was not
question.
advertised.
That was going to be my question. If the job was not advertised, where did these 3 people come from?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Where did they come from? Your track record is terrible.
Mr. Dawson, you want to address that?
That's all
Referred by whom?
She's giving it to you because she don't know the answer.
That's it. Everything is by referral. So all the jobs or positions that the borough has.
Someone has to do the referral.
Tell her to stop blaming you.
It's referred to
We know about it. Okay.
So bottom line is,
No, answer the question. Answer the
if you have a
question.
friend
Yes.
that's making referrals for their friends, these are the only individuals that have an opportunity to get a contract.
If you know
That's what
someone,
it is.
counselor, if you
No,
know someone,
advertise. It's not when you don't advertise.
if you know someone and they have a proposal,
You need to
Counselor, review the data. Review the data. No, we're not.
You need to advertise.
Review the data, counselor.
You know what? You need to advertise.
advertised. That's all.
There is no other comments. This meeting is adjourned.